Welcome to episode 13 of our class story mission XP boosted run through. So in this we are just doing the class missions and seeing how far we can actually get when it comes to leveling. Let's go ahead and get our timer going. When we left off, we needed to work our way to essentially the end of Hoth. So this is probably the closest we're going to get. So we will quick travel to there. We're going to need to reapply our boost. So if we talk about what our XP is, we are in a double XP event. One of the things that we are using is the consumable. It gives us a 25% boost. So there's 25% there. We'll go ahead and start this travel and walk through the rest. So normal XP is 100%. Double XP gets us to 200%. We have this armor that gives us a 50% XP boost. We just applied the buff, which will give us our 25% boost. The guild has a 15% XP boost, and our guild chip actually applies another 7% XP boost on top of that. The last little section that we have is for class missions and exploration missions. We actually have a 30% once you add all these together. So you put that all together, and it's a 327% boost. We were working our way through all the planets. We take a data reading every 15 minutes to kind of check to see where we're at, how much experience we've gained. Now, we did this as well, slightly differently, in doing every mission on a planet. So we have another character that we went from 0 to 75 on, and you can find that series as well. And in that one, we went ahead and just did everything on a planet. I'm going to go ahead and check for training here, just in case we have anything. So in that one, we actually cleared the entire planet, and we made sure that same XP boosts were applied and different things like that. And so what we're going to do is when we get done, we'll compare which way was actually more efficient, which way gained us experience faster. Is it faster to go through a lot of planets but just do the class missions because they gain you big chunks of experience plus that extra 30%? Or do you do the class missions on a few planets but everything else? And so that is what we're going to put together at the end of this whole thing. So far, I have found Hoth to feel very inefficient. Even Tatooine, which is big and open, didn't seem too terribly bad. Hoth feels like a lot of just what we're doing right now. We're just speeder traveling across vast plains of ice. Now, the game was not designed for us to just go all the way here to the end and do the class mission. You know, there's missions all through here, and it kind of leads you through, and so it's probably not as bad if you're doing it correctly. But for what we're doing, it is definitely feeling like we're not making a lot of progress. So that is the experiment. The nice part about doing just the class missions, though, is you do get yourself through the story, and you also unlock your companions. Whereas if you just do some of the early planets, that won't actually happen. Obviously, there's different ways to level. You could PvP, you could do flashpoints, you could do a combination of all that. Those are all definitely valid as well. And if you are very, very impatient, you can actually buy a token that will grant you a level. I think there's 65 and 70 now are the two levels that you can get off the token, and completely skip all of these original stories. So those are all valid options. So I'm not suggesting that you would want to necessarily power level your way through the class story as an efficient means of getting high level characters, but I just wanted to see which was more efficient. All right, we are going to do everything we can to avoid these spawns. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to trigger that one, but we're just going to skip it and just see if we can run in here. So a weird little trick is once you, especially inside of areas like this, Eric is going to hang back and just heal himself. As I run through and trigger this aggro, You notice he's going to take a shot at me, and then they're going to run away. And so what they have done is they have went looking for Eric. Because Eric is actually healing, he's generating threat. And so that makes him their target. Now this guy decided I was more important, so we'll fight him. And then we'll go ahead and pull Eric over here just to see if we can line of sight these guys around this pillar. We'll take him back off of passive so he'll heal us. And we'll clean up the mess that we made running through all that. So it can be effective, especially if you're leaving a cave or a dungeon or something like that. If you just want to run out, the mobs will keep chasing after your companion, and then eventually you'll get far enough away that they'll give up and evade, and you don't have to fight your way out. Now, that being said, if you look at the experience we gain from combat, that's the other thing I'm finding in this playthrough compared to the other, is when you're doing all the missions, you fight a lot more enemies. And so just the sheer amount of experience you gain from fighting, I think makes a huge difference. So, all right, let's see what we're supposed to be working on here. We've got a 25 kill bonus XP. So we try to do the bonus missions. Just because we're here already, and most likely we're going to have to fight most of these guys anyway. Alright, there is something that I forgot to do that I want to do, and that is train. And I want to grab... Oh, sorry, I want to grab this one so I can move while using Bolt Storm. That makes things a lot quicker. So I can run up on these guys while I'm shooting, and that way we can start moving quicker and be moving faster. Alright, so we got a pad in here. We'll hit that. And then it looks like a couple more. Oops, we're going the wrong direction. There we go. Alright, it looks to be like there's going to be a lot of guys in here, so we'll skip the ones we can. Alright, we're going to go ahead and have Eric follow us. See if we can get this guy to line of sight us back here. Alright, he's melee, so we can get him to come over here and fight with us. So if we get them grouped up, it's nice because then we can use our area effect stuff and burn them all down at once. One of the first things that I get is the 25% damage improvement on that. It was a little closer than it should have been. Alright, so another, I don't want to say issue, but another thing I'm concerned about. What is that up there? Past the tertiary. Okay, that's the one we have to get to. Okay, it's up the ramp there. Is the armor that I'm wearing is the XP armor, and I have not been upgrading it at all. So I don't put on, you know, this armor that we find because it would break the set bonus and not get the XP. But I haven't bothered to even put armorings in it. That might be a mistake. So far, the fights haven't been hard enough that it's been an issue. But at some point, we might get to the point where we're just going to need to at least put the armorings in. So, we haven't got there yet. I'm curious to see if we can get all the way to the end planets and actually not upgrade the armor. If our being over leveled will be enough. Because we're still at the level cap. We're 59 and the planet is 41. So, okay, it looks like now we just have to get to the end. And we only have 4 more guys to kill. So I'm curious, but I think just the way some of the fights are going, as we've gotten through Hoth, and I think even on Tatooine a little bit, maybe Balmora, there were moments. Now that being said, the Commando Trooper has a lot of survivability, so it's not too terribly bad. Let's see if we can get these guys. Come on, Eric, come back here. There we go. So if we get ourselves into trouble, we can get ourselves out of it without too much issue. The defensive cooldowns and shields and heavy armor and all that stuff put together makes it pretty easy to survive. And you have a big gun. Now I wouldn't try, maybe if I had the armor fully upgraded, maybe putting Eric on DPS and just trying to burn everything down before it hurts us, but tend to keep him on heals. That way, one, we survive, and two, we can just keep moving. He heals me as we run, so we don't necessarily have to stop and recharge our energy and heal ourselves up and stuff like that. So that's the strat. Alright, so I have found that at least on Hoth, when we get into these bases, it feels like we're fighting enough stuff that we get a good chunk of a level in just combat. So what's it taking per level now? 940,000, you know, at 2,000 a kill, you know, it goes pretty quick. Alright. This group shouldn't be too bad. Oh, I hate the knockbacks. We're taking a little bit of damage with the two grays or silvers. Alright, throw our shield on just to... It'll do two things. It'll cause damage because it's got a reflection on it, and it'll help Eric catch up on our healings. Alright, where is Sergeant Yoon? That is the question. Don't think he's in the base. Looks like he's back at the main base, so that may be the end. It should be the end of Hoth. Timing wise, that's actually pretty good because I believe the next part is a non-planet quest where you actually, you know, it's a trooper specific, but we will see. I tried to look up at least the planet quest order so we would know a little bit going in, but this should end Hoth for us. I guess it is called the final phase or something like that, so. Yep. Well, the final piece. Oh, right. Evidently I have to go recruit him. Sure, let's put him all the way over there. Alright, well, hopefully we can get across the base in a minute, because that'll put us at our 6:15 mark. Which means we'll get this done before we have to take our XP measurement for our data collection. Okie dokie. I believe this will just be us asking for Yoon to join our team. So I probably have mentioned it. We are just spacebar skipping the missions, or the conversations rather. And also I'm only hitting number 1. I'm not making any choices. So whatever 1 is what we're going with. Sometimes it's light side, sometimes it's dark side. Not sure if that's considered the default answer or the default story, but that's what we're going with. Mostly just to keep things moving quick. The conversations for the stories are where a lot of time gets eaten up. Alright, we got a new weapon. A new level. And we are going back to Coruscant, so... So we are at 615. We are level 60 with 192,163 experience. So onward we go. All right, so report to General Garza. Oh, we have to use the door. It's interesting because playing through the stories again, I've spent more time on my ship than I have in probably years. With the inclusion of being able to just quick travel from planet to planet off the map, rarely visit my ships anymore. But with the story, you have to go there to, kick the next part of the story forward. So it's been a pleasant trip down memory lane to revisit our ships. And that's been fun. All right, Yoon is now our companion. Although, I think we're going to go ahead and swap out. So we've been using Eric for two reasons. One, you get him at the beginning, so you have him the longest. And he tends to like the number one conversation answers, which means I gain influence with him. And the higher his influence gets, the stronger he is. So the better healer he is, the better DPS he is, and different things like that. So he is at level 23. Let's see if he likes any of these. I did unlock both of the ways to get more companion influence. So we get a bonus for gifts and also a bonus for the conversations, just to try to get that number as high as we can. Just to make our lives a little bit easier. All right, here's a grand briefing strategy. My whole team seems to be there. That was very exciting. All right, travel to the gauntlet. Now, usually these missions go relatively quickly, so I think we'll be able to get this done. Okay, so that triggered, interesting enough, so I directly traveled to the gauntlet. I didn't go to my ship, but now it says use your ship's holo terminal, so we'll have to go back inside the ship. Thankfully, the load time on the ship isn't too bad. Planets can take a little bit more, but the ship's not bad. All right, so I guess we get more of a briefing here than what we just got. Ooh, that was scary. Looks like our team had something to say about it. All right, now we can board the gauntlet. So one of the things in game design and game development you'll find is we string together things to trigger events, right? So, clicking on something's pretty obvious, but even walking through an area or a door or different things like that is how we track progress. So in this case, we had to get that conversation out before we could get to this part. So, oh, we have to have Yoon. Okay. So he's coming back. At least he's level 2 now. Hopefully he does well. Oh, there's our whole team. Okay, I think I remember this. I think they all get jobs that they have to do. And if I paid attention to the conversation, I probably assigned them all a role. And that may come back to bite me. Especially if I lose Eric for an extended period of time. Because I think one of the roles you actually lose a companion for a little while. I might be misremembering. But in order to stay consistent, we are not going to go back and change our answers. We are sticking with number 1. And we'll let the chips fall where they may. Looks like everybody survived, so that's good. This is cool. I wish there were more missions in the game where you got to use your whole team. Now, obviously in the new game where you have like, 30 or 40 or 50 companions, it's a lot different. But when this first hit, I remember this would be like, holy cow, this was awesome. I have this whole squad of Havoc Squad, but it's only ever 2 of us out there fighting. And so this I felt was really, really cool. All right. They all are moving on to their jobs. Not sure what they're all doing. But we're going to go with it. Okay. I assume we can't sneak by these guys, but we'll find out. Nope. Okay, so we've got, looks like, we've got mission stuff. I'm not sure what all those mean, but it's something to click on, so we'll click on it. All right. Is that something? All right, I'm not 100% sure what that did. Is it a bonus mission? Okay, I don't know. We'll blow them up. Maybe it has a consequence later on. If it's an objective, we're gonna do it. Maybe it's below my mission list here, so let's clean that up a little bit. These are all Hoths, so we can kill these. So if you haven't watched an episode, I often take the heroics on a planet and I just use them as quick travel points. So they have a little button there that allows you to travel, and sometimes that can get you to an area quicker than if you would have got there otherwise. Nope, I don't see anything there. Alright, well, we're blowing them up. Maybe it's just calling them out to try to make combat easier. I'm not 100% sure. Alright, so far Yoon's doing okay. Even at level 1 or 2, I think he's level 2. And if we get in trouble, we could actually do a conversation, probably gain a level or 2, but I'm thinking we're going to be okay. Hopefully we can get through this mission in the next 7 minutes. Okay, let's stand over here because I think we're going to pull this group. Can they see me over? I don't know if they can see me over the wall there. All right. What's next? Yoon does his thing. All right, on to the next. So it appears we have to get down there. I can skip that spawn. I don't think we're gonna be able to skip this one. So. All right, we are getting into kind of a grindy aspect of this, so not a lot to talk about in the grand scheme of things. I think we've mentioned that there are 2 different series. The other series gets to level 75 and far less planets. Then the plan is to do a closing video on what those rates were and compare and contrast. Not from a planet to planet perspective, because obviously the ones that you do all the missions on a planet, you're going to get tons more experience on the planet. But from a timing perspective, you know, which one is giving you a better experience rate. So we'll work on that as soon as we get through them both and have that data. I do enjoy doing breakdowns of how game mechanics work. So if there's anything in the Old Republic that you've wondered about or don't know, feel free to ask down in the comments. You could also join our Twitter or Discord servers, and we'd be happy to discuss things up there. Yeah, maybe those are just to help you in combat. I don't know why they're listed on the map, for sure. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely feel free to reach out and ask. And I'd be happy to either answer it in the comments, or if it's something that's large enough, we could actually do a video on that, breaking down whatever those mechanics happen to be. All right. I believe they use this map for either a flashpoint or a heroic. It looks really similar. All right, where are we headed next? Heading that way. Hopefully we just have this one group. So, if you're interested in something in the Old Republic, let us know. Happy to try to answer your questions or do the investigation to figure out what it would take. Sometimes part of the fun is just digging in and trying to figure out what it is you need to do. Oh, okay, that was an elevator. Wondered why nothing was happening. Thankfully, in the Old Republic, you don't get crushed by elevators. Although there's a part of me that thinks it would be cool for that to be a thing, and then there to be a stat that is how many times have you been crushed by an elevator. All right, we lost our companion, and now we're going into combat. So sometimes when companions switch, you don't get the new companion. All right, let's save our own butts here. Hopefully we don't die. It's gonna be close. All right. Not sure. They've got him separated out, so I'm gonna assume. Yeah, we can't use, so we have to use him. So, wasn't paying attention, but when that switch happened, the companion didn't respawn, so we'll watch out for that. All right, let's see what we got to do next. Plant explosives. All right. That's why we have this companion. He would be our explosives expert. Another explosion. And I'm gonna guess that would get us across. Onward. So we have blown through any, it looks like, bonus missions. So now we're just going to try to get to the end, given the fact it's called the Gauntlet. It seems like a reasonable goal. Alright, definitely had some ads in that one. Alright, after this fight, I think we are going to end it. I don't think we're anywhere near the end. We still have a few different companions to go through, so we're going to go ahead and call that the end of episode 13. We will roll into episode 14 at level 60 and hopefully finish the gauntlet and get ourselves moving forward onto Belsavis. So as always, thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next episode.